Chapter 4. It takes me half an hour to make it from my car to my apartment. I called Luck twice to see if she could help me, but she didn't answer her phone. When I make it inside my apartment, I am little irritated to see her lying on the couch with the phone to her ear. I slam our front door behind me and she glances up when happened to you. She asks. I use the wall for support as one toward the hallway sprained my ankle. When I make it to my bedroom door, she yells, "Sorry, I didn't answer the phone. I'm talking to Alex and was gonna call you back." It's fine, I holler back at her and then slam my bedroom door shut. I go to the bathroom and find some old pain pills I had stuffed into a cabinet. I swallow two of them and then fall onto my bed and stare up at the ceiling. I could believe I'll be stuck in this apartment for an entire week. I grab my phone and next my mother sprained my ankle. I'm fine, but can I send you a list of things grab for me at the store? I drop my phone onto my bed and for first time since she moved here, I am thankful my mother's life fairly close to me. It actually hasn't been that bad. I think I like her more now that my father has passed away. I know it's because I held a lot resentment toward her for never leaving him. Even thought a lot of resentment had faded when it come to my father. I still have the same feeling when I think of my father. I cannot be good still holding my on to so much bitterness toward my father. But damn it, he was helpful to my mother, to me too. At last I've been too so busy with my mother move and secretly searching for a new building between work hours. I haven't had time to finish reading the journals I started reading all those months ago. I hope pathetically to my closet, only tripping once. Luckily, I catch myself on my dresser. Once I have journal in hand, I go back to my bed and get comfortable. I have nothing better to do for the next week. Now that I cannot work, I might as well as commiserate over my past while I am forced to commiserate in the present. Dear Alan, you hosting the Oscar was the greatest thing to happen to TV last year. I don't think I ever told you that the vacuumist kit made me piss my pants. Oh, and I required a new Allen follower today in Atlas before you start the judging me for allowing him inside my house again. Let me explain how that came about. After I let after I let him take a shower yesterday, I didn't see him again that last night. But this morning, he sat by me on the bus again. He was a little happier than the day before because he slid into the seat and actually smiled at me. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little weird seeing him in my dad's clothes, but the pants fit him a lot better than I thought they were going to. Guess what he said? He leaned forward and unzipped his backpack. What? He pulled out a bag and handed it to me. I found these in the garage. I tried to clean them up for you. because they were covered in old dirt, but I cannot do much without water. I held the bag and stared at him suspiciously. It was the most I'd ever heard him say at once. I finally looked down at the bag and opened it, and it looked like a bunch of old gardening tools. I saw you digging with that shovel the other day. I wasn't sure if you had any actual gardening tool and no one was using this, so thank you, I said, was a kind of in shock. I used to have a trowel, uh, trowel, but the plastic broke off the handle and it started giving me blisters. I asked my mother for gardening tool for my birthday last year, and when she bought me a full-size shovel and a hoe, I do not have the heart to help tell her it's not what I need. At last, clear his throat, and that in a much quieter voice he had. And I know it's not like a really gift. I didn't buy it for anything, but I wanted to give you something, for he didn't finish his sentence, so I nodded and tied the bag back up. Do you think you can hold them for me until after school? I do not have any room in my backpack. He grabbed the bag from me and then brought this backpack up to this lap and put the bag inside of it. He wrapped his arm around his backpack. How old are you? He asked. 15. The look in his eyes made him seem a little bit and about my age, but I do not know why. Well, 10th grade, I nodded, but honestly, I couldn't think of anything to say to him. I haven't really had much interaction with a lot of guys, especially senior. When I am nervous, I kind of just calm up. I don't know how long I'll be staying at that place, he said, bringing his voice down again. But if you are ever need help with gardening or anything after school, isn't like I have much going on there. Ying as thought I have no electricity. I laughed and then wondered if I should have looked at this deprecating comment. We spent the rest of the bus ride taking about you, Helen. When he made the comment about being bored, I asked him if he watched your show. He said Red Alive too because he thinks it's funny, but TV would require electricity. Another comment, I wasn't sure if you should have logged at. I told him he could watch your show with me after school. Always record it on the DVR and watch while I do my chores. I figured I could just keep front door dead bolted, and if my parents got me early, I'll just have Atlas run out the back door. I didn't see him again until the ride home. Today I didn't sit by me this because Cathy got the bus before him and sat next to me. I wanted to ask her to move, but then she'd think I had a crush on Atlas. Cathy would have a wild day with that one, so I just let her stay in my seat. Atlas was at the front of the bus, so he got off before I did. He just kind of awkwardly stood there at the bus stop and waited for me to get off. When I did, he opened his backpack and handed me the bag of tools. I didn't say anything about my invitation to watch TV from earlier this morning, so I just acted like it was a given. Come on, I told him. He followed me inside and I locked the deadbolt. If my parents come home early, run out the back door and do not let him see you. I nodded. Do not worry, I will, he said, that with kind of a log. I asked him if he wanted anything to drink, and he said, sure. I made us a snack and brought our drink to the living room. I sat down on the couch, and he sat down in my dad's chair. I turned on your show, and that's about all what happened. We didn't talk much because I fast forwarded through all the commercial, but I did notice he looked at all the right times. I think good comedic timing is one of the most important thing about the personality. Every time he looked at your jokes, it makes me feel better about sneaking him into my house. I do not why. Maybe because if he is actually someone I could him be friend with, I'll make me feel less guilty. He left right after your show was over. I wanted to ask him if we needed to use a shower again, but I would have cut it real close to time for my parents getting home. The last thing I wanted was for him have to run out the shower across my backyard naked. That again didn't kind of hilarious and awesome. Lily, dear Alan, come on, woman, rareness, reruns, full weeks of reruns. I get that you need time off, but let me make a suggestion. Instead of recording one show day, you should record two. Way you'll get twice as much done half of the time that will never be sit through reruns. I stay we because I am referring idless because become my regular Alan watching partner. I think we might love you as much as I do, but I'll never tell him. I write to you on a daily basis. That might seem a little too fangirl. He's been living in that house for 2 weeks now. He's taken a few more shower at my house, and I give him food every time he visits. I even wash his clothes for him while he's after school. He's keeping apologizing to me like he's burned, but honestly, I love it. He keeps my mind off things, and I actually look forward to spending time with him after school every day. That dad got home late tonight, which means we went to bar of after work, which means he's probably going to instigate a fight with him, my mother, which means I probably to do something stupid again. I swear sometimes I get a mad for staying with him. I know I am only 15 and probably do not understand all the reason I chooses to stay, but I refuse to let use me as her excuse. I not care if she is too poor to leave him, and we will had to move into the crappy apartment and eat ramen noodle until I graduate. Then would be better than this. I can hear him yelling at her right now. Sometimes when he gets like this, I was into living room hoping it'll calm him down. It doesn't like it'll hit her and the room. Maybe I should go try that. Lily, dear Ellen, if I had access to a gun or knife right now, I would kill him. As soon as I walked into the living room, I saw her push her down. They were standing in the kitchen, and she grabbed his arm, trying to calm him down, and he backhanded her and knocked her straight into the floor. I'm pretty sure he was about to kick her, but he saw walk into a living room and stop her muttered something under his breath to her, and then walked to their bedroom and slammed the door. I rushed to the kitchen and tried to help her, but they never want to see her like this. I waved and away, said, I'm fine, Lily, I'm fine. We just into a stupid fight waste time, and I could already see the redness on her cheek from where he hit her. When I walked closer to her, wanting to make sure was okay, I turned back to me and grabbed the counter. I said, I'm fine, Lily, go back to your room. I run the back down also hallway, but I didn't go back to my room. I ran straight out the back door and across the backyard. I was so mad at her for being short with me. I do not even want to be in the same house as either of them, and even though it was dark already, I went over the house. Atlas was staying in the he knocked on the door. I could hear him moving inside like accidentally knocked sometime over it is Lily. I whispered. A few seconds later, the back door opened. In the look I behind me, that no left and the right, and the wasn't until I look at my face that he was so I was crying. You okay? He asked, stopping outside. I used shirt to wipe away my tear and noticed he came outside. His invitation and I sat down on a porch step and he sat down into next. I'm fine, I said. I'm just mad. Sometimes I cry when I get mad. He reached over the tucked my hair behind my ear. I like it when he think that I suddenly wasn't nearly as mad anymore. Then he put his arm around me and pulled him that way. He was resting on his shoulder. I don't know how he calmed me down without even talking, but he did. Some people just have a calming presence about them. His one was completely opposite of my father. We sat like a while until I saw my bedroom light turn on. You should go, he whispered. We should both see my mom standing in my bedroom looking for me. I wasn't until the moment that I realized what a perfect view he was of my bedroom. As I walked back home, I tried to think about the entire time Atlas has been in the house. I tried recall and walked around after the dark with the light on the night because I normally wear my room at night is a t-shirt. Here's what crazy shoulder that Ellen. I was kind hoping I had Lily. I I close the journal when I paint pills, start the cake in the I'll read more tomorrow, maybe reading about the thing and my dad used to do. My mom kind of puts me in the bad mood. Reading about the Atlas kind of puts me in a sad mood. I try fall asleep and think about Riley, but the whole situation with the thing kind of makes me mad and sad. Maybe I'll just think about Alisa and how many I am that showed up today. I could use a friend, not me. Mention help during the next few moments. I have feeling it's going to be more stressful than I bargained for.